Remember when collaborators were treated like traitors? Well, China is paying foreign collaborators to spread its disinformation in target countries. And these collaborators are often so-called influencers, with many followers on social media platforms like Twitter. That's the finding of a new study published on Monday. The study also found that China pays collaborating news organizations to spread its disinformation. Here are the details. Taiwanese officials accused China on Monday, May 24th, of spreading fake news about the COVID-19 situation in Taiwan. That same day, Taiwan's DoubleThink lab released a report that details how Chinese government-backed disinformation flooded Taiwan in 2020. The disinformation amplified discord prior to Taiwan's elections and spread COVID-related rumors aimed at delegitimizing Taiwan's democratic government. The researchers analyzed thousands of posts to determine their origin, purpose, effect, audience, and mode of spreading. They found that one tactic China uses is to pay news outlets to repackage Chinese propaganda as real news. Another tactic is to work closely with real online influencers in the target country to get them to share the disinformation through their platforms. China also uses websites that aggregate low-quality articles to spread disinformation, often through Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and other platforms. Another tactic is to mobilize Chinese nationalists to post and amplify disinformation online. The report concludes that the Chinese government has developed a sophisticated set of disinformation tools that it is deploying inside liberal democracies. It says that Beijing's disinformation operations in Taiwan follow a set pattern, which is also being deployed elsewhere. China has once again made incursions into Taiwanese airspace, continuing its surge of military activity around Taiwan. Here is what you need to know. More Chinese military aircraft entered Taiwan's Air Defense Identification Zone, or ADIZ, on Monday than in any previous day this year. According to Taiwan Central News Agency, reporting figures from Taiwan's Ministry of National Defense, a total of 25 Chinese planes flew into Taiwan's ADIZ. The incursions involved 5 flight paths. 4 J-10 lightweight multi-role fighters and 8 J-16 twin-jet multi-role strike fighters flew on the same path. 6 additional J-16s flew on a separate path. 4 H-6K twin-engine jet bombers flew on a separate path. And finally, 2 Y-8 anti-submarine planes and 1 KJ-500 airborne early warning and control plane flew on their own separate paths. These incursions beat this year's previous high of 20 Chinese planes entering Taiwan's ADIZ on a single day, set on March 26th. According to the CNA, those entries came in response to the U.S. and Taiwan signing an accord outlining cooperation between U.S. and Taiwanese Coast Guards. Responding to the situation in an interview with NBC's Meet the Press, Yahoo reports that U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken has warned against any further military intensification in the area, saying what we've seen and what is of real concern to us is increasingly aggressive actions by the government in Beijing directed at Taiwan, raising tensions in the Straits. He added that the U.S. has a long-standing commitment under the Taiwan Relations Act to ensure that the island has the ability to defend itself. The story is not going anywhere, so if you want to catch up on some of the background to it, you can check out our previous videos to get to grips with U.S. and Taiwanese relations, plus some handy history on China and Taiwan. CNN reports that analysts are calling out China's secret maritime militia as it gets increasingly aggressive in its efforts to push other Asian nations out of the South China Sea. China denies that the militia exists, but Western analysts say a quick study of these so-called fishing boats show that they form an integral part of China's military actions. These boats are often huge by fishing boat standards, and they never seem to catch any fish. They have automatic weapons aboard and reinforced hulls, making them very dangerous at close range. With top speeds of around 18 to 22 knots, they are also faster than 90% of the world's fishing boats. Analysts say China is using these weaponized boats to protect large flotillas of normal Chinese fishing boats. In this way, they can quickly bring hundreds of Chinese fishing boats to any disputed island, a flotilla so large that it can't be challenged without triggering a military confrontation. Last month, more than 200 Chinese fishing boats crowded around Whitsun Reef for weeks. Whitsun Reef is a major fishing ground and part of the Philippines' territorial waters. Newsweek reports that China is increasing its pressure on Taiwan and the Biden administration with an aggressive new tactic. Taiwan's military showed that on March 29th, 10 Chinese warplanes invaded Taiwanese airspace to the island's south and west, while Japan reports that another 2 Chinese planes cut through its southern airspace to skirt Taiwan's eastern airspace. A Taiwanese official said that the move was designed to practice cutting Taiwan off from Japanese and American intervention if China carries through on its threats to invade Taiwan. This latest incursion saw 4 Chinese J-16 fighters and 4 J-10 fighters entering Taiwan's air defense zone in the southeast, together with a KJ-500 control plane. A Y-8 anti-submarine plane was also tracked flying all the way from the southeast to the southwest of the zone. Japan also tracked 2 Chinese Y-9 planes, one of which turned to fly along the eastern border of Taiwan's air defense zone. The Trump administration will seek to sell Taiwan at least 5 and possibly 7 advanced weapon systems, according to recent reports by Reuters and the New York Times. Here is what you need to know. Reuters reports the administration on Monday, October 12th and Tuesday, October 13th notified Congress of its intention to sell 5 weapon systems to Taiwan. The multi-billion-dollar deal would include the M142 HIMARS, High Mobility Artillery Rocket System, Slammer long-range air-to-ground missiles, external sensor pods for Taiwan's F-16s, MQ-9 drones, and Harpoon Block II anti-ship missiles. The M142 HIMARS, High Mobility Artillery Rocket System, is a multiple-launch rocket system on a wheeled chassis. It fires the MLRS family of munition rockets and artillery missiles. The HIMARS can hit targets up to 300 kilometers or 190 miles away and would greatly expand the range of Taiwan's artillery. The Standoff Land Attack Missile Expanded Response, or SLAMR, is an air-launched cruise missile that can attack targets on land and sea at a range of 278 kilometers or 150 nautical miles. It could be fired from Taiwan's F-16s, which would also receive external sensor pods for the real-time transmission of imagery and data from the aircraft back to ground stations. The MQ-9B Sea Guardian drone is an unarmed maritime variant of the MQ-9 Reaper. The Sea Guardian can be used to help track and hunt surface ships and submarines. The Harpoon Block II is an over-the-horizon anti-ship missile that would serve as a coastal defense cruise missile. Though not included in the reported deal, Taiwan has also been seeking to buy the M109A6 Paladin, a self-propelled 155mm howitzer. The Trump administration reportedly also wants to sell sea mines to Taiwan. Under the Taiwan Relations Act passed by Congress in 1979, the U.S. is committed to providing self-defense weapons to the country. The news has outraged China, which covets Taiwan, and says it will one day take over by force if necessary. Here's a recap of how China has escalated tensions with Taiwan and the U.S. in 2020, and how Washington and Taipei have responded.
For more news animations and explainers, hit the subscribe and bell button to join the TomoNews family. Thanks for watching.